only light that shines from you. You wind up like the record you hide behind that mask you use. And do you think this fool will never win? Look at me, I'm coming back again. Got a taste of love in a simple way. If you need to know while I'm still standing, you just fade away. You know I'm still standing better than I ever did. I'm looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid. I'm still standing after all this time, picking up the pieces of my life without you on my mind. I'm still standing, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm still standing, yeah, yeah, yeah. What I never could hope to win, starting down the road and leaving me again. Threats you made were meant to cut me down. My love was just a circus, you'd be a clown by now. You know I'm still standing better than I ever did. I'm looking like a true survivor, I'm feeling like a little kid. I'm still standing after all this time, picking up the pieces of my life without you on my mind. I'm still standing, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm still standing, yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't you know that I'm still standing better than I ever did? Oh, girl, I'm looking like a true survivor, I'm feeling like a little kid. I'm still standing after all this time, I'm picking up the pieces of my life without you on my mind. I'm still standing, yeah, yeah, yeah. 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 Thank you very much. Thank you. This is a show in which I get to play some songs to all of you, and you get to give me a good old grueling with questions, and that's why the show is called An Audience With. And Cher is going to start the proceedings off. How are you, oh bag?
Hello,
Hi.
Bean.
We go back a long way.
Well, do we?
Yeah, I had hair when I first met
I
you.
know.
Yeah.
And you were teeny.
I was teeny.
Yes.
Yeah, well,
And
there
I
you
had
go.
Sonny.
Yeah, you had...
And he was teeny.
He was.
You had Sonny, too.
So, Bono was a completely inappropriate name for him then.
Yes, it was. Completely. All right, so I'm supposed to ask you this question. If you could describe yourself in 20 words or less, what would you say, darling?
Shy, generous, temperamental, fabulous. I don't know. Just an old tart, basically.
Yes,
You know that.
I do.
Kathleen Turner, where are you?
I'm right here.
Oh, there you are.
Well, I was wondering, actually, that I know you've got classical training. I know you trained at the Royal Academy. So
Right.
how come you got bumped over into rock and roll?
Well, you see, I knew at an early age that these hands, which are extremely small, would not be suitable for classical music. Because, you know, most classical pianists have beautifully long fingers, and most pianists have very long fingers, and I just about get an octave. So I knew at an early age that I wasn't good enough for classical music. I love playing classical music, but I actually prefer to play rock and roll. And
So that's what I
So
decided
it
to
was
do.
your hands that did it, huh?
It was the hand that did it. I'm not small in every department, of course.
No, hands have nothing to do with it.
No hands.
No.
Don't believe what you read. Yeah. My reputation's gone within 2 questions, right? I'm leaving.
No, Timothy's got one.
Yeah, I've got a
Timothy,
question for you. If, by any kind of mischance, you'd failed to become what you are, what do you think you'd have done? What would you have liked to have done?
I was quite happy, you know, just being involved in music, basically. And a couple of friends of mine used to run an import record shop in Berwick Street called Musicland. And even when I had a successful record in 1970, I used to go there when I could and help behind the counter. So, I mean, I'd probably work in Tower Records or something like that. And I know Tower Records inside out in Los Angeles. So I'd probably be one of those guys in the real baggy T-shirts and the sort of unkempt hair or whatever, who knew everything about where that's over there, that's over there. But I'd probably work in a record store. Glamorous record store, of course. Scary Spice, where are you?
Okay.
You got a question for me?
Yes, I have. My question is, if you was in the Spice Boys, who would the other Spice Boys be, and who would be scary?
Well, I think Rod Stewart would have to be in the Spice Boys. He'd be Mingy Spice. Who else would I have in it? Sting would have to be in it. Absolutely, you'd have to be in the Spice Girls, boys. Yeah, and he'd be Hot Spice, don't you think? Or no, Tantric Spice.
Yes, I like that.
And George Michael. He could be. What would he be? Hairy Spice. Yes. So yeah, and I'd definitely be. I might be Mint Spice. With a CE and not an T, right? So, yeah, I'd love to be. There should be a Spice Boys group, don't you think? For us heterosexuals.
Elton, if you was one of us Spice Girls, which one would you be?
Me.
I would have to say I'd be Scary Spice.
Hey!
But I think, actually...
Because she wears glasses as well, isn't it, Elton?
Yeah,
Haven't got 'em on.
I think so, yeah.
Sure you wouldn't be Ginger, you know?
No, I think I'd probably dress more like Ginger Spice. Yeah.
I thought so,
Yeah.
you know.
I'd actually like to ask if you had any platform disasters.
Any what?
Any platform disasters?
Oh, I've got loads of platforms at home. Yeah, that I've still got, yes, from the old days. 8-inch high
Have you
platforms.
fallen over in any of them?
I've fallen over them in private, yes. During the bondage sessions, I've fallen over. But on stage, no. No, absolutely not.
Okay, I've got a special question, actually.
Right.
You might say no, we won't take it personally, but can we sing a song with you? Can we get up?
Spice Girls singing a song with me?
Yeah.
Absolutely. You sing.
Not sing as we go.
Come on. Come on. What we're going to do is a song that I recorded in 1976 with Kiki D. Now, is Kiki here tonight? Yeah. Kiki! So this is called Don't Go Breaking My Heart.
Don't go breaking my heart.
I couldn't if I tried.
Oh, honey, if I get restless.
Baby, you're not that kind.
Don't
Thank you. Now, you know when you go to those shows, like, if I'm going to see David Copperfield or if I'm going to see Dame Edna Everage, and I know there's going to be a certain amount of audience participation, I always book a seat in the balcony because you can't be got at there. But you see, there's no balconies here tonight. So, as you can see, there are lots of fabulously stylish clothes here from my past. And what we're going to do, first of all, I'd like to invite Stephen Fry up to help me on this bit. Now, Stephen, I want you to help me dispense some of these into the audience. And I'll take a couple and you... This one's nice. Give that one to share. Desmond Lynham, I see you in a whole different light. You can have it. Yes. And Faldo. You better wear that in the Ryder Cup where you're playing. I could have someone with short hair to wear this one. There you go. You take the one with the little chopper on the top. What we're going to do, we're going to ask 4 of you from the audience to come down, because behind that screen are some even more tasteless outfits than those. And we're going to ask you if you'd like to try them on. Well, you've got no choice, really. So the first person or victim that I will choose is Ewan McGregor. I'm okay. Linford Christie. Oh. David Ginola. And Roger Black. Where's Roger? Oh. Now, Stephen, if you could escort these 4 gentlemen round the back. So, to help them out when they come out, I'm going to... Ladies and gentlemen, probably one of the most beautiful women ever, Miss Claudia Schiffer. Now, Claudia, while they're getting ready, I mean, there's some really tasteful things on here.
Yeah,
I
mean,
saw.
This is, yeah, it's very good. William Hague would look good in that, don't you think? Definitely his colour, I think. So, how you doing? Go and sort them out. Stephen, who will be our first entrance out? That's right. Linford Christie. Roger Black. I'll tell you what, he'd never make a false start in that outfit. David Ginola. The fabulous Ewan McGregor. think they've all been brilliant sports, and now you've just got to go back and sit in the audience for a while. I'm serious. You can't change quite yet. You'll be able to change in a minute, but you have to go back for continuity pro. So, come on. Come on. Come on. Thank you. Thank you. Claudia Schiffer. Every time I go to the theatre, I always get stuck behind someone like Linford. Right. Now we're going to do a song from our new album while you're still squirming out there. This is the current single, or half of the current single. It's called Something About the Way You Look Tonight.
There was a time I was everything and nothing all in one. When you found me, I was feeling like a cloud across the sun. I need to tell you how you light up every second of the day. But in the moonlight, you shine like a beacon on the bay. And I can't explain, but there's something about the way you look tonight. Takes my breath away. Is that feeling I get about you deep inside? And I can't describe, but there's something about the way you look tonight. Takes my breath away. The way you look tonight. With your smile, you pull the deepest secrets from my heart. In all honesty, I'm speechless and I don't know where to start. And I can't explain, but there's something about the way you look tonight. Oh, it takes my breath away. Is that feeling I get about you deep inside? And I can't describe, but there's something about the way you look tonight. Takes my breath away. The way you look tonight. 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 Yeah, yeah, yeah. The way you look tonight. 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 Thank you.
Okay. Time for more grilling. Jules,
Yeah, you've played in lots of glamorous places, like this lovely room that we're in now. But what I wonder is, when you first started out, like any musician, you must have played in some awful places. What was the worst place that you've ever played in?
Oh, there was a place called the All-Star Club, Artillery Passage, in it. Oh God, somewhere. And you played in a boxing ring, and it was horrible. There was we used to back these American soul stars, and we used to be at 3 or 4 shows a night. Some of them, and some of the ones in London were really rough. There was another one on Highbury Corner that was really dodgy. But the ones that, because I used to carry my own equipment. See, that billionaire's wife in the paper that can't make the toast. I can still carry my organ. And I used to have to, it was a Vox Continental, I used to have to take it downstairs. The Q Club wasn't easy to get in and out of, but I would say the All-Star Club was the worst. There you go. Ozzy Osbourne.
What was the scariest thing that ever happened to you on stage?
Well, I shit myself once.
Well, we've all done that, dear. We've all done that.
And that was very scary.
We've all done that.
Yeah, it was doing Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboy as well. No, actually, I did that. That happened to me once. Thank God, never again. I've had it all sealed up now. I find that the bag is much easier. No, I was on stage in Paris at Bercy, and I was wearing a scarf, and I was starting off on Your Song, and a fan came up and started pulling the scarf. And tighter and tighter and tighter until she pulled me off the stool, and I sort of went unconscious. So that was pretty scary too. So yeah, been a lot of scary things happen actually. The piano leg falling off, that was scary. But you know, I mean, what's the scariest thing that's happened to you?
Getting up there.
Oh yeah, no, not biting the head off the bat. No, not scary at all.
That was my wife's cooking. That was.
Next question. Graham Taylor, where are you?
I'm here.
Ah, there you are, behind Sir George's hat, yes.
That's right, yeah. Is it true that you financed Watford the first time round to make up for all of the times you nicked in over the turnstile as a young lad, free of charge? And we'd like the truth.
Yeah, well, no, I never nicked in. I'm a very honest boy. And it was very hard, and I was too big as well. No, I only financed Watford for the love of the team, Graham, and because you demanded it. Yeah. I used to be on tour, and he said, "Oh, there's a good centre forward at Wolves." And a week later, he was there. So,
yeah.
Great win yesterday.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank you also for
the... It's a tribute to your team I'm wearing tonight.
Oh, thank you very much. I'd like to thank you also for the music and the joy you gave me, because it meant a lot for me to be here. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
If you could have been a football player, you know,
yeah.
Which football player would you like to have been?
George Best. Yeah. And hopefully a George Best who wouldn't have retired at 28. I mean, such a genius. I don't think we've ever seen the like of him again. And it's such a tragedy that he only played to a certain age. So I'd love to be George Best. Just to have that magic in your feet is incredible. I mean, there's millions, but I'd love to have been George Best.
Okay.
Finally, John Barnes. There you are.
Here I am. As we all remember, well, I know you and I will remember, Watford got to the FA Cup final in 1984.
Yeah.
Did that mean as much to you as achieving a #1 single?
It probably meant more to me, actually. It was much more exciting because we'd come from such, a low position in the 4th division. We started off in the 4th division, and then to go from the 4th to the 1st, as it was then, and get to the cup final was like a, I don't want to say fairy story, but it was fantastic, and it was probably one of the most emotional days of my life, and one of the ones I'm most proud of.
And do you think you can do it again?
Absolutely. I wouldn't have gone back to Watford if I didn't think that we could achieve things again, because you have to be ambitious, and we are ambitious, and I'm ambitious, and Graham's ambitious, and I think even though football has changed so much, yes, we can do it.
I meant the #1 single.
Oh. I sell well in Finland. Yeah, I think I can have a #1 single again. Yeah. Thank you. And
why do you say, though, that football has managed to keep you sane, when obviously it's made me insane? I mean, why do you
had
say
your periods of
that?
the turnip. You had your vegetable period.
We all go through this. But why is it that you've reported all the time that, you know, that you feel that football has helped to keep you sane?
I like the people at the club. I like the supporters. I like the people from visiting club. They're very grounding. When you go in there and you turn up to a game and people say, bloody hell, you put on weight, haven't you? And it's like, oh, thank you. Or, don't like your new hairdo. Why don't you buy another one? Can't really beat that, can you? Footballers, very much maligned race of people. They've been terrific. I enjoy the camaraderie of football, and all the people in it have always been great to me. So it's something I've missed, and I'm glad I'm back involved. Talking of the cup final, I think, you know, one of the most moving pieces of music for me that's ever been written is always played before the cup final, and it's a hymn called Abide With Me, and it's just such a beautiful piece of music. And that was the reason I actually cried at the cup final. It wasn't because Renata was standing on my foot. I recorded this song where all the money from the album goes to the Rainforest Foundation, which Sting and Trudy so marvellously run. And it's an album called Carnival, in which we were allowed to choose our favourite things from our childhood. And this one, you know, being a football fan from the word go, Abide With Me was always my favourite kind of piece of music when I was a kid, because it made me cry. So I've recorded it with the finest brass band there is, the Black Dyke Mills Band. And we've brought them down, and we're going to do this song. Okay? Abide with me, fast forth the eventide. The darkness deepens, Lord, abide with me. When other helpers fail and comforts flee, help out the helpless, abide with me. With thee at hand to bless, ills have no weight and tears no bitterness. Where is death's sting? Where great thy victory? I triumph still if thou abide with me. Thank you. Now, we have some more questions from, first of all, Ramon Tigarim.
What I want to ask you is, it's obvious that you love your country, but what exactly does patriotism mean for you, to you?
Well, whenever I leave this country and I travel abroad, I just always miss the English cynicism, the English kind of sense of humour. Yeah. I don't miss the press very much, I have to say. But I just miss London. I miss just something about the British Isles, not just England. It's the whole scene in Britain where people, you know, don't let you get too big for your boots. You know, not like in America. So that's what I love about it here. Yeah. Plus the fact it's one of the most beautiful countries in the world.
Definitely.
Okay, Linford, you can get your own back now.
That's good. I'd like to know, how high can you sing?
I don't know. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I can get above a middle, top C. Old top C. So, I used to have very good falsetto, but after the operation it all went, you see. I had something removed from my throat, and... oh dear, the tone is going lower and lower. Unlike the voice. Greg.
I know you're always traveling a lot. Are there a few essential things you can't live without?
Oh, I say. I always take Marmite with me. Marmite, HP sauce, Branston pickle, and English mustard. You know, they're stock essentials, really. Americans hate Marmite. I've never met an American yet who likes Marmite. They always think, "Oh, can I try that?" Like, they're puking up about 30 seconds later. So yeah, I always take those with me. Plus my address book, and that's about it. And the credit card, of course, which is, you know, gets worn out within about 30 seconds. So now, I tell you what, I know that sports players and sports stars are all frustrated sort of musicians sometimes. But, you know, John McEnroe plays guitar. I know Pat plays guitar, right? I'm going to let some of you come down and do some backing vocals on this next song. So, Pat, you can come and play guitar, all right? You go over there, there's a guitar there for you. And now we need a chorus of backing vocals. So we'll have Greg Rosetsky. No. David Coulthard, where are you? Come on down. Aha. Rory Underwood. Oh, yes, Rory. Come on. Nick Faldo. David Gower. Ben and Adam Holyoke. Come on. Lee Chapman, where are you? Graham Taylor, Kenny Jackett, Luther Blissett, and John Barnes. Come on down. Come on. Right now, you're going to go over there behind the microphone, okay? We're going to do a song called Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting, and I want lots of sort of like Saturday. When we do that bit, you sing Saturday, Saturday, okay? All right?
Bear say, I don't know where the light shines. It's a great dawn rising on a green hill, and there's so much behind us. I don't know where we're going. I still feel there's something out there. There's a great awakening and a new morning. Your spirit's pounding loud and clear. If the rhythm is back, I
Thank you. Next question, Mel Smith.
Yeah.
Ah.
I'd like to say, first of all, thank you for a fantastic night. We're having a great time, you know. And I wondered if I might just sort of, I don't know, raise the tone very slightly, you know, and ask a question that I think a lot of people here would be interested in the answer to. If you could be any kind of vegetable, which one would it be?
Cucumber.
There you go. Cucumber.
A cucumber.
There you go.
Or a marrow.
Thank you. And what about and a breed of dog?
Not a poodle. No. Spaniel, probably.
Spaniel. That's interesting.
Leaving tonight on a plane.
That's interesting. And just finally, which historic figure would you most like to be? Do you think?
Dame Margot Fontaine, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. Or Archbishop Tutu, one of the three.
Thank you for clearing all that up. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, because you've worked with Bernie for a very long time now, has Bernie ever embarrassed you in public? Like, no, but I mean, of the working relationship you have, I mean, what other musical partnerships do you admire?
Well, obviously, Nina and Frederick. Little Donkey, I mean, standard, wasn't it? Peters and Lee, Teddy Johnson and Pearl Carr. Ooh, who else? Sonny and Cher. But now I know he was very little. I've gone off the idea. It's just Cher now. And my favourite, actually, of all the duos are the Pet Shop Boys. And I'm going to bring them on right now because we're going to do a song together. So, everybody, Neil Tennant, Chris Lowe, the Pet Shop Boys.
It's all we got. Love has no boundaries, got nothing to touch. Won't make some money, cancer sleeps, curled up in my father, and that means something to me. Churches and dictators, politics and papers, crumbles sooner or later, but love, I believe in love, I believe in
I believe in love, it's all we've got. Love has no boundaries, no borders to cross. Fathers and sons make love and guns, families together, kill someone without love.
Isn't everything, isn't everything, isn't everything, life isn't everything, isn't everything,
Sir George.
Well, I'd like to ask you something.
Okay.
You know, about your songwriting. You've written so many great songs. There must be. Can you think of one song that you wish had written that you hadn't?
Of somebody else's?
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah, loads.
Well, just give me one.
I Can't Make You Love Me, the song that Bonnie Raitt sang and George Michael covered. The Peter Gabriel song, Don't Give Up. God, there's so many. Practically everything that Cole Porter wrote. Everything that the Beatles wrote, you know, the Rolling Stones, you name it. There are so many.
Okay, how about a song that you wish you hadn't written?
Oh. There's plenty of those. Well, we went through a rather silly phase, and on the Caribou album we wrote a song called Sola Prestige Agamon, because people kept reading things into our lyrics, or Bernie's lyrics. And so we just thought, I said to Bernie, write a load of old rubbish, we'll record it and see what happens. And here we go. There are 5 fishes in this bloody song, and there are 5 loaves. You must be religious. You must be religious. So that was one song. Sola Prestige Agamon. Very memorable. Yeah. It was the drugs, George.
Sorry, I'm late, Elton.
Oh. Oh, my God.
I'm sorry. Hello, how are you? I've just done a gig. I did a gig. We're up the marquee, you know. Who said punk? Hello, Des, how are you? I said you got a better house than I had. Jesus. Who's the cricketer? You're the cricketers, aren't you? Budge up. I'm sat here in this row.
Lily?
What, love?
Where have you been? King's Cross?
No, not tonight. I don't do Sundays. No, I've got my own shop now, Elton, anyway. Yeah. Do dominatrix, got a dungeon. Well, it's not, it's a table with a chain on it, but the punters call it a rack. Now, move up. That's it. These are a bit of all night, aren't they? Shut up, love, that's it. How's it going, Elton?
Very well, thank you.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
good. They're not frosty?
No, not really.
No.
I keep going to the toilet a lot, though.
Do you?
Yeah, no, they do.
They were up and down with me, Elton, the same. They were like bloody pensioners on a coach trip. They were in and out. I wondered why they were in them labs. And they all had heavy colds, my crowd, I tell you. They were sniffing, snorting, God knows what else. Hold that for us, love, will you, in a minute? Where's my purse? You can have that if you want. Go on, El. Sorry, love.
I think Richard E. Grant has a question for me.
I do. I've heard that you write your songs very, very quickly. And I brought some words along and hope that you can put some music to it. Would you do that?
What is it?
Well, it's the cooking instructions from my oven. Would you do that?
Serious, yeah?
Yeah.
Conventional oven thermostat. Sounds like a Chemical Brothers song, doesn't it? You and your new oven are capable of great things, but remember, no 2 ovens are the same. Rather than jumping at the deep end with your brand new oven, don't forget it may differ in its cooking characteristics to your previous model. We strongly recommend you take time to read this leaflet fully from cover to cover. Get to know minor key, it's a bad oven. You get to know all there is to know about your new oven before you begin preparing your... God, this is ridiculous. Your own mouth-watering meals. I'll have to do that one again. We strongly recommend you take time to read this leaflet fully from cover to cover. Get to know all there is to know about your new oven before you begin preparing your own mouth-watering meals. It may seem like a chore, but it'll pay off
off in the long run. So let's begin at the beginning with your new bloody oven.
I'm going to get all the loonies in the United Kingdom sending me microwave frigid books. Oh, dear. I get enough loony lyrics as it is. Next question. Greg.
Is it true that you wrote Philadelphia Freedom for Billie Jean King?
Yeah. When World Team Tennis started in America, which was a new form of tennis, it was a team tennis event, and there were about 8 teams, and Billie Jean's team was the Philadelphia Freedoms. So I said I'd write a song, and I thought, God, what am I going to write a song about tennis? So I lumbered it onto Bernie, and he wrote a song called Philadelphia Freedom, which kind of coincided. At the time, there was so much great music coming out of Philadelphia with the OJs, MFSB, 3 Degrees, you know, that whole kind of Gamble and Huff stuff. So, the Gamble and Huff stuff. So that's why I wrote it, and I'll do it now. I'll tell ya. I'd like to congratulate Greg for being the first British player in the top 10 for many a year. And also, in front of Greg is Boris. And I'd like to thank you for coming over from Germany, Boris, with your beautiful wife. Thank you so much.
Find the answer on the road. I used to be a heart beating for somebody, but the times have changed. The less I say, the more my work gets done. I live and breathe. I feel the death, be afraid again. Damn it, I was born away to fly. Philadelphia freedom to the knee, high to a man. Yeah, in the peace of my mind, calm surrender to the rush of day, when the heat of a rolling wind can't be turned away. An enchanted moment, and it sees me through. It's enough for this restless warrior just to be with you. And can you feel the love tonight? It is where we are. It's enough for this wide-eyed wanderer. Then we've got this far. Can you feel the love tonight? How it's laid to rest. It's enough to make kings and vagabonds believe the very best. There's a time for everyone if they only learn that the twist and kaleidoscope moves us all in turn. There's a rhyme and a reason to the wild outdoors, when the heart of the star-crossed Voyager beats in time with yours. And can you feel the love tonight? It is where we are. It's enough for this wide-eyed wanderer. Then we've got this far. Can you feel the love tonight? How it's laid to rest. It's enough to make kings and vagabonds believe the very best. It's enough to make kings and vagabonds believe the very best. Lion King. Thank you.
Ewan, how are you? Please forgive me.
No, you're all right. You having a laugh? Yeah. Yeah? I wondered if maybe there was a film or a role in a film that you ever wished that you'd played.
The only role I've really been offered, apart from ludicrous ones, when I first went to America, a guy called Hal Ashby, who's a great director, offered me the lead part in Harold and Maude, which is a great movie. And I couldn't do it because I was just breaking as a musician, and it broke my heart because the script was brilliant, and he was a great director. And they got Bud Cort to do it, who did a great job. And it's one of my favorite movies, so it's been downhill all the way from there, really. I think Godley and Cream once asked me if I would be interested in doing the Billy Bunter story. And for all you Americans in the audience who don't know who Billy Bunter is, I won't even tell you. All right. Roger Taylor. There you are, right in front of me. Hello, darling.
Hello. Hi, Elton. I'd like to ask you, how did you persuade John Lennon to get back on stage and sing? And did that lead to a reunion with Yoko?
It was, he made a record, an album called Walls and Bridges, And he asked me to play on a couple of tracks, one which was called Whatever Gets You Through the Night. And we made a sort of a deal where if the single got to #1, he would come and play live on stage with us somewhere. And the single did get to #1, so unfortunately he got railroaded into coming on stage, which I must say professionally was probably the most memorable evening of my career, because when he came on stage, and he had been on stage for a long time, and it was at Madison Square Garden in New York, which was kind of like his hometown, the audience gave him like a 15-minute standing ovation, which was so moving. And he was actually physically sick before he came on stage, and Yoko was there backstage, and that was the night that they got back together, and that's why I am Sean's godfather. So there's the story there. Amanda, where are you?
Hello, darling.
Hello.
Hello, sweetie. Speaking of Hollywood, you must have met a lot of Hollywood legends in your time. Groucho Marx, Mae West, Elvis.
Pamela Anderson.
Pamela Anderson. I'm not going down that road. Question is, did they live up to your expectations?
Yeah, I've met a lot of people, but the two that I remember most, or three actually, was Groucho Marx,
Yeah.
who I met, and he was invited to dinner. I was renting a house at Malibu with Brian Forbes and his family, and Groucho was coming to dinner, and we were told that he liked the room hot, and it was boiling outside. It's July, right? So we got the fire on and everything, and he came in an overcoat and a beret. And he sat right by the fire, and it was like, I was just dying. I thought, oh my God, and it was very sort of silent and tense, and he said, Christ, he said, when do we eat? It was just one of those big wind-up things, and actually I was terrified, and then gradually, you know, he just laughed and said, listen, I'm just winding you up. And he could never understand why I was called Elton John. He always thought I should be called John Elton. And in fact, when you go to football matches, they say, all right, John, how are you? All right, John, yeah. He actually signed a poster to me, which I've still got, to John Elton from Mark's Groucho, which is very sweet. And Mae West was another.
Mae.
I had tea with her at Ravenscroft Apartments.
Yes, I know. It's the Larchmont Village.
And it was like all white. Everything was white, 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 white. It's the colour of her carpet. And she had these big guys in evening dress, and we sat there and we had carrot cake, and then there was this kind of big introduction. She came in fully dressed in the middle of the afternoon. She was incredible.
And Elvis?
Elvis was kind of a disappointment, because when I met him in Washington, he was like half dead already. There was just, it was... there was no signs of life there, and it was kind of disappointing and sad. So he didn't really live up to expectations. I suppose you don't. I mean, if you're in that state, and I've been in that state as well. So, but I think Groucho and Mae West, and possibly Cary Grant as well. He came. I played Dodger Stadium, and he came backstage, and he's. I think he's one of the best screen actors around. He's just got so much charisma, and he was such a gentleman. So they don't make him like that anymore.
They don't.
No. Talking of people who aren't made like that anymore, I'm going to introduce someone who, perhaps in my business, people say, do you have a lot of, friends in the business? Well, I have like 2 or 3, and I don't really hang out with people in the music business. But I think probably my dearest friends in the business, as it were, Trudy Styler and Sting. And I'm going to ask Sting to come up and sing a number, but I just have to say that these two people are the closest people to my heart in the business. So it's a great, thank you for coming, and now you're going to sing. Come on. After that intro, you can't refuse.
So this is a song by Elton called Come Down in Time from the Tumbleweed Connection album, which was one of my favorites. And I've been singing this for years and sang it with Elton on the 2 Rooms record, tribute record to him and Bernie. And I like this song a lot, so I hope you do. In the quiet silent seconds I turned off the light switch and I came down to meet you in the half-light the moon left a cluster of nightjars sang songs out of tune.
bright light shone down from the room. Come down in time. I still hear her say it, so clear in my ear, like it was today. Come down in time was the message she gave to me. Come down in time and I'll meet you halfway. Well, I don't know if I should have hurt hers yet, but a true love like hers is a hard love to get now. I want most all the way, and I ain't heard her call, and I get into thinking if she's coming at all. Come down in time, I still hear her say, so clear in my ears, like it was today. Come down in time was the message she gave to me. Come down in time and I'll feed you halfway. There are women and women, and some hold you tight while some leave you counting the stars in the night.
Right, more questions. Coming to the last bit here. Nick Faldo. Don't ask me if I had a hole in one, please.
Your coolness, calmness, and being collected is legendary. And apart from little old ladies saying "cooey,"
Yeah.
Does anything else annoy you?
The press. What else annoys me? People who are untidy. I'm anal retentive here. Always put things back in their place. I'm the sort of person that can't go to sleep if the TV remote isn't on the TV. It's one of those things. It's like so stupid. But and I hate bigotry. I hate, racism. Anything like that really pisses me off. So I would say that's the biggest thing. I hate that kind of bigotry and racism. That's the worst, I think. There's no excuse for that. David Coulthard.
I'd like to know, when you're not performing, how do you relax? And one other thing as well, when you said earlier you're a shy person, well, does that mean that you like to spend your free time alone, or do you like to have someone with you all the time, or how do you spend that time?
I'm quite private. When I don't really go out to... I'm 50 now, and when I was younger in my career, I used to go out to the openings of Envelopes, to the clubs. I used to go to every bar, every club, every restaurant. And now, the only time if I ever go out now with David, my partner, is if it's for supporting a charity. Say if Sting's doing something or some of my other friends are doing something for a charity, I'll go then. But I'd rather stay home and have people down to dinner. And we play this game called Gestures, which is kind of like charades, but more fun. So, yeah, I'm kind of like to walk around the garden, tidy up the CDs, wash the dogs, that sort of thing. Janet Street Porter, where are you?
I'm up here.
Hello, dear.
Hello.
Now, the question I've got is, everyone's always writing about your hair. God knows they've written enough about it over the last few years. But I've got a different kind of question. Do you ever use hair removal cream? And if so, where?
Do I use... Yes, I have used removal cream. On my testicles, actually. Because, you know... It's very hard to shave down there.
Actually, I know you two.
And, you know, I like that smooth feeling, you know, that you get when you use the cream.
Yeah,
if you leave it on too long, you get burnt.
Well, you told me to use that cream, didn't you?
Yeah, on your testicles.
Yeah, well...
Well, that's one bit of the show that won't be transmitted. That's the bollocks section, I would say. Stephen Fry's.
You're 50.
Yes.
You're probably the most successful individual British artist, with the obvious exception of Mrs. Mills, that this country has ever produced. And you're about to start on a world tour. You could relax amongst your spectacles.
Yes.
I wondered what it was that drives you.
Usually a Bentley. I just like to perform. I mean, unlike you. Cruel queen tonight.
I walked into that one, didn't I?
Yes. No, I just, you know, I love to go out and play the live. I mean, you make records and you write songs and you go in the studio and it turns out one way or the other. And I've been lucky enough to work with great producers. But there's nothing like going back on stage and playing it live because you don't really know what's going to happen from night to night. And that's the kind of drug that, you know, is the biggest drug there is. That kind of feedback from an audience. You know, if you're playing and people love you and they're giving you that applause, it's such a great feeling. It can't really be replaced by anything else. It's that vibe back from an audience. And I think every performer would say that. So there you go. So, George.
Well, it was a great privilege for me, Elton, and a unique experience to record your tribute to Princess Diana. And I remember you saying to me at the time, I'm never going to sing that song again. Would you like to tell us why?
I'm not going to sing that song with those lyrics ever again. A, it would be too upsetting. B, it would stir up too many memories. And I think it's a one-off thing. It was a terrible tragedy that happened. And Bernie rewrote the lyrics to fit a memorial for Princess Diana. And I've done it once, and I don't, you know, I think that's enough. And people will go out and buy the record as they have. And I think to milk it and do it anymore, I just think would be in bad taste. And, you know, if you're going to do it live on television and, you know, if the boys are watching or something, enough's enough. And, you know, there are going to be too many people jumping on the bandwagon and putting out records and stuff like that. It's too early. And this, you know, this was just done as a matter of fate. And I don't want to sing it again. It was a one-off thing. I'm saying I'm not going to sing that song anymore. This is a song that started everything off for me. It was 1970, and I went to America, and the Elton John album had just come out, and I was getting a lot of airplay over here. And I went to America and thinking, oh God, what's going to happen? I played this little club in Los Angeles, and this record became a hit, and it was the most exciting thing that had ever happened to me because my album went in the charts. It was above All Things Must Pass by George Harrison. I kept looking at it, I can't believe this. It's surreal. It's like when any of you are in a hit movie, in your first hit movie or your first, something that's successful, and it will always stay with you. So this song, I will always sing because I never get fed up with singing it, and it's called Your Song. It's a little bit funny, this feeling inside. I'm not one of those who can easily hide. I don't have much money, but
Boy, if I did, I'd buy a big house where we both could live. If I was a sculptor, ha, but then again, no, or a man who makes potions in a traveling show. I know it's not much, but it's the best I can do. My gift is my song here, and this one's for you. And you can tell everybody this is your song. It may be quite simple, but now that it's done, hope you don't mind, I hope you don't mind that I put down in words how wonderful life is while you're in the world. Sat on the roof and kicked up the moss, but a few of the verses, oh, they got me quite cross. But the sun's been quite kind while I wrote this song. It's for people like you that keep it turned on. So excuse me for getting, but these things I do. You see, I forgot if they're green or they're blue. Anyway, the thing is, what I really mean, those are the sweetest eyes I've ever seen. You can tell everybody that this is your song. It may be quite simple, but now that it's done, hope you don't mind, I hope you don't mind that I put down in words how wonderful life is while you're in the world. I hope you don't mind, I hope you don't mind that I put down in words how wonderful life is